Hi there and welcome to the Barbara Young channel. Welcome to my Friday Sews. First of all, just like to say thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Throne Room for creating the hashtag Friday Sews. So, what has my week been? What have I been doing? Have I got lots done? Well. Now, last week I did say that this week I was hoping to, make a bag out of this material. And as you can see, I've not made it. Here's the material, still uncut, unused. So there you go, didn't make a bag. Or at least not this bag. Now I did actually make a bag, only it's not the one I was expecting to make or thinking of making. It's actually this bag, this little bag. Quite a neat little thing, isn't it? Now there are one or two issues with this bag. I shall go through them in just a moment, but let me just rewind a little bit and show you where I started from. Well, I'll try to anyway. So basically, I was given a bag, and the bag was a little bit worn out and not in the best of conditions, and it was like, well, you have this bag and salvage some bits off it and try and use parts of it for other projects, which I thought was great. Now it is this shape, it's this shape and style. I've pretty much taken it exactly as it was, but as you can see, I've already taken it apart completely because I needed to take it apart so I could understand how it had been constructed. Now this one, it looks like a leather, but I think it's a faux leather. I think it's like a mock leather type bag. It possibly could be real leather, I don't know, but I don't think it just doesn't seem to feel quite like I'd expect a real leather to be, even though it is got quite a lot of leathery texture to it. So I think it was a faux leather bag with an inside lining. Grab that. You can see it had a proper, just a nice good old polyester lining, all in black, with the other bits and, a tab thing, and had this big base piece on it that had this big thick stiff piece in there and, long strap that looks and seems quite leathery, but it's, I'm not sure that it is. I think it's a faux leather. So they're all the bits. Once I'd taken the whole thing apart, so I could basically copy it, I could have a look and see how it's made and constructed and start putting it together. So there we go, the bits. But yeah, what I ended up with is this bag. Now, the problem being is that bag, being a faux leather, has been stitched in a way that you'd expect leather to be stitched. So trying to recreate it sort of pretty much the same as it was, but in a fabric, has been a bit of a challenge, because obviously you stitch leather differently to how you'd stitch fabric. Yeah, there are similarities and things you can do the same, but generally leather is worked differently, or leather substitute is worked differently. So the main construction, the main body of it and the main panels I could recreate without having too much trouble, but the way the zip was put in, these tabs on the top here that were put on to, so you can anchor the strap on there, is different. You've got this tab bit that comes over this bit here, and it comes over on the other side, and it had this long piece because it had a little buckle on there and then whatnot, but even though it still had a magnet, I put a little magnet catch on there. So that design needs to change slightly because it's really not quite right for this. Now, one of the things that it did have, and I recreated quite well, I think, are the pockets. So we've got one pocket on the front, which is, as you see, one of those little pockets. You can put the stuff in there. Well, I know it's just big enough to get a mobile phone in, but you can put other stuff in that. And then the zip, because of the way this zip works, because of these tabs on the end, it doesn't sit quite right. So I'd have to look at reworking the way that this zip sits in there. Not much change, but there just needs to be a little bit of change to make sure it sits properly. But on the inside, And if anybody recognises that material, that's what I used for, you know, for my shirt dress I've just done. So when I first open it, what I've got on that side, furthest away from me, is just like a little pocket, just a top-ended pocket, you know, like a patch pocket almost in there. It doesn't sit quite in the right place. It needs to be in a slightly different position, but I just sort of copied it from how it was on the original lining. And then on this side, I've got another zip pocket, another one like the one on the front that sits in on the other side. So I've got two pockets on the inside, and again that's about the same size as the one that's on the front. You get a mobile phone in there just about, as long as it's not too big a mobile phone. So yeah, so two pockets, one there, zip one there, and then a little one there on the other side. So yeah, that's come out really nice. I really like doing that and getting the lining done. So the lining wasn't too much a problem, except for the fact it's extremely baggy. The way that it's made doesn't have that much shaping to it, so it sits a bit baggy in there. And I copied it from the same size as the material that was already in there, and again it does seem like it's just overly baggy, because what you've got is this shape on the bottom. You can see it's just a sort of oval shape or oblong shape, rounded end, and you stitch that in. What you do is you stitch it in, stitch it all together, stitch the zip in and lining, and then you sew up, you turn it all the way through, you know, it's all inside out, you turn it through and then stitch along the bottom of that lining, and then you just got to try and sort of force it in there and make it sit neatly. But it's too big. I need to rework the size of that lining, so actually when you push it in there into the bag, into the corners, that actually it sits in there without it being all lumpy and feeling like there's just too much material in there for the size of the bag. So that's one issue, that lining size that needs to be corrected. I say the zip needs to be corrected slightly. This, where it's gone in on the edge here, that looks fine. I'm quite happy with that. It's just at the ends with these tabs and the way that works. I need to find a different way of doing that, because this isn't leather. I don't need to stitch these on the same way that I would do with a leather strap. With a leather material to put the strap on. So yeah, I do need to make some amendments to it. And this tab thing, I want to change this. I still want a piece that comes over with a magnet. I just need to change its shape and how it sort of works, really. Magnet is still great. I still like to have a magnet, but yeah. But all in all, it came out really quite well. And working with this material wasn't too bad. It's, you know, it's a heavier weight material. Still a bit sort of sits a little bit saggy, so I would need to put some interfacing in there, I think, to just give it a bit more rigidity, so it sits a bit more like a bag. And that hopefully might help the issue with the lining as well. So that's the bag. I mean, I like it. I think it works, you know. Strap is long enough. It can go all over the body, so it's cross body. So yeah, all in all, I do like it. It works for me. Like I say, I'll do another incarnation of it, hopefully correct a few of those mistakes, or all the mistakes, or all the issues and that I've got with this bag. Like I say, the main thing, the reason those issues do exist, is because it was originally designed using faux leather, and I've made it out of material. So yeah, a little bit of work to make that come right how I want it, but I think that's worked out quite well. So there you go. That was my week of sewing. Doesn't seem like a lot, does it, really? And it's not, I suppose. I know it takes a bit of work because I'm pulling an item apart and then I'm remaking it, but in different materials and in a slightly different way. So that does take quite a bit of work within itself, you know. It takes quite a bit of time to sort of work out how I'm actually going to get that all to come together. But yeah, not a lot of work seems to have been done. But yeah, I don't know. Just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes you don't get as much done as you'd really hope. So why haven't I actually got much done? Well, I suppose really it's just life stuff, really. I mean, everyday stuff. I mean, we all have things we've got to do. We've got to get up and go out and go and do things and get things done. And, you know, we don't always have the chance to spend our time actually doing our sewing and things. But then I've also thought about that this week with not being able to do as much, you know, and just getting on with this bag. I thought, well, I've got other things to do, you know. Life is happening, as it were, you know. I suppose if I was just to bury my head into just doing my sewing every day and just do nothing but that, you know, you've got to get up, do your basic day-to-day stuff that you have to get done, and then it's like off on to doing some sewing and ignoring everything else, then, you know, all the other things that happen in our lives, we could just pass us by, couldn't they? We would be not partaking in our own lives. I think that's one of the things we can all find ourselves falling foul of, is that sometimes we don't participate in our own lives and stop being active in our own lives and what we're doing. So I suppose in a way it's been good that I've not been able to do as much, you know, sewing this week, and I've had to do other things and focus on other things, because I've actually started to, you know, be active in my own life, as I put it. But then I do like to come back to my sewing when I can, so it's a good, if sewing was to be all the time, then it would like take over and be the only thing, whereas when we can finish our day, as it were, and go and do our sewing, then that's much better, I think, in some ways, because we can use it as that wind down thing, that thing where we can take ourselves off and relax from the day that's been, or the week that's been. You know, it might have been quite a hectic week and we think we just need a bit of time to ourselves and go and do our sewing and make something, you know. And I think that's quite a good thing, otherwise it can become, I suppose, all consuming, as it were, and then we stop being, as it were, active in our own lives, as I've put it. So yeah, yeah, just life things, I suppose, just day-to-day things, having to go out, having to do things, having to do other stuff, other than being able to just go and sew, has made me do less. But at the same time, I've enjoyed making this one item. I've not, you know, sort of barreled through and got loads of things done. The one item was enjoyable, and I suppose my week has been enjoyable because I've had to focus on other things and then enjoy the sewing when it comes along. So yeah, there we go. My quiet week wasn't quiet at all. It's only quiet in the sewing sense, but I did get something done. So yeah, there you go. A not so quiet week, even though the sewing didn't get much of a show. But there you go. That's how it always is, isn't it? So if you like this video, do please click the like button. Subscribe, that way you'll get notifications of when my videos come out. Do comment. I do love reading your comments. It's nice to see what you're up to and what you're thinking, and also chat amongst yourselves as well with the comments, because it's always nice to come together, because that's what we have the Fridaysews for, and we can then discuss as well, you know, and also go look at the other Fridaysews videos. That's why we all do them with the hashtag Fridaysews. Click on that, see what everybody else has been doing as well. So I think really it's just left for me to say thank you very much for watching my video. I look forward to seeing my next video. Bye.
Bye.